If there has been one technology that has been a real game changer in recent times, it is GenAI. From being in the background for the last 2 years, it is now at the core, center, and forefront for many organizations. In fact, a recent study says that 1/3 of global organizations are employing GenAI in at least one business function. To know more about how it is revolutionizing industries, today we have with us Piyush Jha, Managing Director APAC, GlobalLogic. Hello, Piyush.
Hi.
Piyush, I was reading about this report by Ernst Young 2023, which said that 100% of CEOs in India, they are making or planning investments in GenAI.
Of course.
And almost 84% of them, they are either reallocating funds from the technology budget or raising capital. How is GlobalLogic is invested in GenAI?
So I'll give a bit of backdrop on that. Our story on generative AI is pretty old. Our story on AI is at least 10 years old. Our story on generative AI is close to 3 years old now. We started our first generative AI release went to production in September of 2021. We started working in this technology early 2021. And that was when people were really experimenting on what to do and what not to do with this stuff. We started work on a healthcare article producer, which kind of looked through all the material, all content on the web, and generated articles with different levels of complexity. And this is pretty commonplace today, but this was like 3.5 years ago. Post then we realized that there's a technology that has huge potential. So we started investing a lot of talent into that. Today, if you look at it, we have close to 95% of our workforce that understands generative AI, close to 82% of our workforce in APAC, which can work with generative AI to various levels. So we're not making that investment today. We have made that investment over the last 3.5 years. And we're proud to say that our workforce is pretty attuned to working with this set of technologies today. What that does is it gives us a lot of exposure with our customers. It gives us a lot of work from our customers. They understand that our pitch on generative AI is authentic and detailed and deep. And that is what we are doing. We continue to invest a lot in generative AI. We are currently creating a large, multi-million-dollar program. We're calling it platforms because that deals with all the three core platform stacks around Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud, and a lot of native cloud platforms. And it has a whole set of accelerators that companies can use as is once they're developed. The first release of it went to production early this year, and we would continue doing that for the next 18 months or so. So I think there's a lot of investment in the market around generative AI. We have taken a very strong pivot and pitch very early on. We are buttressing that pivot today, and we are making that even more reinforced and strong.
Piyush, you spoke about your workforce and how it is already attuned to GenAI. You have one of the largest workforce in India. How are you helping your workforce upskill when it comes to specifically to GenAI?
I think people would need to understand that generative AI has two basic contents. One of them is data, and the other is artificial intelligence. It needs a lot of detailed, deep algorithmic skills for people to be able to do that, because only being able to utilize the frameworks or platforms that are coming in, utilize them and do work around that is simplistic. And a lot of people will be able to do it as we go in. So like I said, what we started with was try to have almost all our workforce understand generative AI. We went with a basic beginners levels of generative AI training for all the workforce. That was close to 95% of the workforce that we're calling level 0 certified today. And close to 85% workforce that is level 1 certified, means that they understand it and they can operate with the platform and use the platform as they would want to. And then there's a set of our workforce that is engaged and involved at an architectural level. They can code generative AI applications and they can create generative AI platforms. There are at least close to 1,000 people who I understand and know can build good level of generative AI applications, production grade applications for customers. I think that is one of our key and core investments. The workforce getting attuned to being able to build software with that, and that will enable us to do a lot of things. A lot of programs that we are doing today will need and include a lot of generative AI work. Most of the customers that we interact with today are talking about various levels of artificial intelligence, which would mean that almost all products that we build tomorrow will have components of AI into it. And I think upskilling the workforce is an extremely pivotal and important thing to be able to achieve it. We are very invested in it. Our L&D teams invest about 40% of their time today in coaching and training around AI, and I feel that we'll get to the level that we want to get.
I'm talking about creating products of tomorrow, and you are a digital product engineering company. At a time when the definition of best and advanced technology keeps changing every month, how's GlobalLogic staying ahead of the curve?
I'll talk about it from my own vantage point. Prior to taking this role up, I was leading digital transformation delivery for GlobalLogic. That was like 4.5 years ago. At that point in time, what we saw in the market was the fact that almost all large enterprises wanted to get into the technology that is coming in. And we decided that we will double down and invest in that sector. I took up a role of leading technology and strategy because we felt that we should be investing in technologies that are 6 to 8 quarters out rather than technologies of the day that play in the technology of the day. I took that role up and started investing a lot in techs like generative AI, but also technologies around metaverse, technologies around quantum computing, around blockchain, and a lot of these things. And we have an entire CTO office that works in experimental technologies that are 6 quarters out. We frequently run hackathons, coding contests. We call it 30 hacks in GlobalLogic. It's a name that in the last 12 years we have learned to live with, and we enjoy doing a lot of that. We are doing a lot of hackathons along with with Hitachi, and along with our customers who come to us to conduct these hackathons, and that generates the genetics of GlobalLogic as it develops. So we decided to invest a lot in these technologies. We told our people that failure is always an option. You could pick up a technology, try to do something, doesn't work, we'll teach you something else. But each and every of our individuals needs to be attuned to the culture of learning. And that is very finely ingrained in our people today. Close to 1,000 people get trained in APAC itself every year, upskill on newer technologies every year. And that keeps the entire generation very fresh. So what we have done or achieved over the last few years is create a culture around learning, people upskilling themselves. That has helped us upskill people internally and get them onto newer jobs rather than hiring people off the street, because we feel that there's an audience that we understand and know, and it is our ownership and responsibility to grow them up. It has also helped our customers getting a lot of in-house talent that does very niche and great work for them, rather than getting talent from outside all the time that we're not very comfortable with. So I think this whole engine around upskilling people in-house, training them on the technologies of tomorrow, and getting them to develop the products of tomorrow as an engine has worked very well for us. And I feel that is one of our secret sauce.
Piyush, what is your take on the fear of job losses, especially among the younger workforce?
I think this is a theme that is coming repeatedly in all our town halls and a lot of discussions that we do with people. There are two aspects to address here. One of the aspects is, with finality, the future is here, meaning the technologies will keep changing I won't say every month, but at least every quarter. The set of technologies that we deal with will keep changing. What that would mean is people will need to keep constantly upskilling themselves. Roll back a few years, the question was same, that there's a lot of automation coming in and there'll be no place for any QAs in the market. If anything, there are more QAs today than they were yesterday, because there are a lot of gadgets and phones and tablets and browsers on which you have to QA the entire application. Now, of course, the nature has changed. It's coexisting with the automation that is coming in, and the QAs that are today are needing to focus more on the products and domain rather than just typing in inputs and getting output out. So I think till the point people are ready to innovate, people are ready to invest in product ideation, people are ready to do things that they want to do, there will be jobs for everybody. On the second hand, what we need to be certain about is the nature of jobs will also change. Most of the mundane stuff will get disrupted and automated. Most of the mundane stuff will be taken over by AIs or bots or whatever you want to call it. And people will need to do more domain intensive, more product intensive work, because that is where innovation is. And humans, if anything, are expected to innovate. So I think, in my opinion, till the point a developer is ready to innovate, and a developer or a tester or anybody in the software engineering fraternity is ready to upskill themselves with the slew of technologies that are coming in, there will be work. If we look at the product pipeline that we have today, or the money that is being spent on software today, post a minor wave of recession, if anything, it is higher than what it was 2 years ago, and it will only increase because the world is becoming software. Every company is becoming a software company, which would mean that in this market there will be more jobs than less. The nature of jobs would be different. So if you're looking at it from a perspective where you came out of college doing mainframes and you did mainframes for all your life, or you read Java in your school and you are doing Java for the next 10 years, no, that is not the market that will exist today. The realities have changed. But if you're ready to upskill and do new stuff, there is time like nothing else. You get great fresh ideas, you get to work on fresh products, you do good new work every day. I think that is nirvana for a software engineer.
Piyush, my last question to you, and this is a slightly zoomed out view of the industry. So there are about 1,600 GCCs in India currently, and as an organization that works closely with quite a few of them, how do you see this landscape changing in the next few years, and where do we go from here?
I think, taking a step back, the landscape has changed over the last 2 to 3 years. A lot of work, and because a lot of companies globally have been pushed on efficiency, on trying to do more with less, and combined with the rise in innovation quotient in India. India creating its own products for its own markets, our developers getting attuned to doing end-to-end full stack engineering. What has happened is the trust that global companies have in the quality of work that India produces has gone up quite a few notches, and the value that we produce, value per dollar spent, of course is better in India. That means a lot of work is getting driven into India, which is increasing the number of GCCs that exist in the Indian ecosystem, and that increases the volume of work that these GCCs are getting. So I think this paradigm is here to stay, only grow. There's a lot of work that was earlier coming mostly from the US to India. It's coming from Europe to India. It's coming from Australia and Japan to India. So I would say this will only increase as we go. This is here to stay, and it will only increase as we go. We have been working very closely with a lot of GCCs since time immemorial, but at least in the last 5 years we have done a lot of it. Our business with GCCs has grown up by 90% in the last 1 year, and I'm pretty hopeful that we will do a similar level of progress next year, if not more. And that is because what we realize is there's a partnership to be made out here. We are an innovation-driven, innovation-led company. We are a digital transformation player. The GCCs in the past, in a lot of pockets, have only produced what their parents in US or Europe or elsewhere demanded. Today they are creating innovative products. That would mean that we could get into a partnership and create an ecosystem where we together develop those products that we can develop, and almost all our partners are receiving it very well. So we are doing a lot of niche, beautiful, novel, new products for the GCCs, and I think together, we should be able to make a great place in the market.
My one more question I'll ask of you. As a leader, you spoke about all the the opportunities that lie therein when it comes to technology, but you also work with people and their fears. What is that one biggest challenge that you foresee that the organizations may have to grapple with in the next 5 years?
I think what we need, and I'll talk about a fear and a possibility. I think what's happening today is we are making the best use of what we have. What we're not making the best use of is the generation that is coming into programming or into software engineering today. I see a lot of people talking about the problems that this generation has, or the lack of focus that we get from this generation. And if we don't farm that well, that will become a problem, because traditionally we have been used to people working 12 hours a day, being married to their project or product, to their company, and doing work traditionally. I think that is getting disrupted. People are very used to not owning things. People are very used to a gig economy kind of a mindset. What that does is, on the people leading these people, or the people managing these people that are coming in to the workforce, there is a disproportionate pressure to change themselves, to rediscover themselves. We will need to tap in this generation for the good that they bring to the table. Most of our hackathons are many times won by freshers that have come into the ecosystem. What that means is that they think differently. The mindset is different. The audacity is different. The innovation quotient is different. And if we make use of that properly, if we do not make use of that properly, that will continue to be a draining problem for the next few years, because we'll struggle with two different mindsets, unable to coexist. If we tap into that ecosystem well, that will create a weapon in the armory that we don't have today. And I think that is what we should focus on. We should focus on, both from an innovation perspective, from a tech perspective, and from a mindset perspective, we should focus on tapping the best that this generation has to make available to us. And I think that is what will change the game for the future.
I think that was quite a pertinent point that you made. Thank you.
Thank you.
Piyush.